I wasn't sure what to expect. I was a little nervous when we got here and saw the stuff out here on the porch as to what we were going to see inside.
I wasn't expecting it to be this awesome. I thought I would like it, but it was, the collection is extensive and impressive, and they're just such great people that it's just awesome to spend an afternoon looking at their stuff and talking with them.
Oh, it's a place after my own heart.
This is great. This is at the end of a long road trip day. This is the kind of place we want to spend a few hours.
It was creepy, but like really cool, like really interesting.
So you've already had an interest in kind of this culture?
Oh, absolutely. I've been weird and macabre my entire life. So I've always been a weirdo, clearly because I'm wearing cat ears and I travel around in a bus full of cats that perform tricks. So.
And I read about them, I cannot remember the magazine, but it was like the 10 best kept secrets in Pittsburgh type of an article. And this was like #1 on the list, and the author was just, you know, going on about what a cool place it was.
We were up to date on our tetanus shots, so we had no fear with that. And amongst all the displays and the way they're all sort of packed together.
That's right. And it makes us appreciate, I guess, housekeeping more.
Everything in this place is something that I would love to have in my house if I still had, if I was still around my house to have things in. But it's an amazing collection.
I mean, their collection, it's obviously taken a lot of years to build, and
it's very impressive.
They're very laid back. It's just a cool place to kind of visit.
So what kind of car is this? What was it?
She was a 52 Dodge at some point. And I got bored with that. And our little Lego collection here. We've got Trixie in the front, the black truck. That's my best Lego interpretation of my beauty, who sits in the back. She's actually behind the house. We'll take you out there to show you her at some point. But she's the Trundle Manor hauler. Been around forever. And then various things found throughout the household are contained on the wall behind that.
That's really cool.
It's hard to place, actually, because I feel like it's been around forever. But I think Trundle Manor began when our collection got so big that we had to show to the public. Both of us love tourist traps, and we thought, well, you know, much like in Doug Funny, where there's a potato that's the thing, but it's just a potato that looks like a bat. If you get people to stop to look at a potato that looks like a bat, then we sure as crap have enough stuff to show off. It's been skinned, so it's just the inside.
I'll let you try that.
Looks like an alien.
I wish it was that exotic.
It's a bit more domesticated than an alien.
Is it a baby something?
Now it's full grown.
Full grown.
Give up yet?
Yeah,
It's our friend's cat.
Oh.
You've never seen them without the...
Yeah, I've never seen them without the skin, yeah.
Just make sure that everybody knows that Trundle Manor is we're not killers, we're collectors. We always have to give that as a disclaimer.
You worry people get the wrong idea?
Yeah, we realize that some people are uneasy with taxidermy. We get that. And I don't expect everybody should love things in jars and dead stuff on your walls. But we want to make it much like a natural history museum, where it's more fascinating than morbid.
It is tough going to other people's houses because we always say we love visual overkill, and I've always loved, you know, a leather jacket with too many buttons on it or a wall with too many things on it. So to go to somebody else's house and look at their beige walls and their their dog cage and whatever people have. It's kind of boring in a way, but I mean, they know what to expect coming here. They usually know about that before they see it. People do tend to ask a lot of questions. I think it's not something that most people are familiar with. It's sort of and we live in our own little world, so people do get curious about it. Above the doorway here is our tribute to classic horror films. They're a pretty big influence on us, if you can't tell. We've got the life cast of Bela Lugosi, the first Dracula. In the middle is Vincent Price, and then Boris Karloff, the most famous Frankenstein monster. And we have Vincent Price's autograph under his head. My grandmother met him in the 70s when he was doing theater. Cool. I'm very jealous. And that's a jar of Bela Lugosi's grave dirt. So if there's one thing from the original Dracula we need, it's the dirt he's buried in.
Yeah, it's in LA, right?
Yeah.
Coffee doesn't actually do anything to me. I just kind of keep hoping it will.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I do tours better when I've had too much coffee.
Yeah. I think I'm slightly abused.
It's funny, I can't really remember what we must have said at the beginning. It must have been very awkward and stilted, but we kind of developed this script and it happened organically. Sometimes tours will come and they'll say, like, we have a bear that's underneath the table of drunken bears, and somebody said, oh, he drunk himself under the table. So we've adopted that, and we say that each time now. And there's basically a script. There's certain things we always talk about, and it's ad-libbed. It just develops over time.
Maybe I'll record it just because it's our big fancy one.
Yeah. Well, should we like 2 people? We'll wait.
It'll be terrible.
It's like the Faces of Meth.
It is a little bit like Faces of Meth, yeah.
Yep.
The early years.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's a certain amount of lights for everything that we have to put on because it's all about the lighting at certain points. Because that's how it makes it more than just someone's collection. At least to me. As our passions grew for what we were collecting, the household grew, and we were lucky enough that we didn't get a lot of tours in the beginning. And I think the people that did find us, it was just so strange that it was this weird little house in Swissvale that was just letting you in and letting you look around. And we didn't know what to tell people or what to talk about. But it grew with the house, and that was the exciting part, was being able to let these people also influence us to help grow the tour along with the collection growing on at the time. Somebody designed that as sort of throwing cleaver at the time.
Yeah, it almost does look like a tomahawk or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it would be so jam-packed full of things.
Yeah.
I know it took going into each room 2 or 3 times to see everything, and each time you saw something a little bit different, a little bit new.
Yeah.
The amount of work that has to go into a place like this to keep it all tidy is mind-boggling.
Really wonderful hosts. I felt an immediate kinship with the house and the people as soon as I walked in.
Yeah, I'd also say about Trundle Manor, this is one of those places where you go through, you have sensory overload, and you're going to leave and realize you didn't see probably 90% of it, so you're going to want to come back and get the story behind each and every specimen and piece of art that's been created in there.
It's funny, I was very much the typical princess pink bubblegum gown type girl when I was very young, and somewhere when I was a teenager, I mean, I was always different, and my parents grew me up on old monster movies and just old movies in general, so that always had an influence on me. I wanted to be a 50s juvenile delinquent when I was a teenager, and somewhere along the way I sort of got into goth and punk and all that stuff, so half of me wanted to be Barbie and half of me wanted to be Vampira. It was always sort of this dichotomy with me.
Watching old horror movies endlessly with my dad, where in the background is just hands floating in jars and eyeballs, and that just seemed normal to me. That that's what people had in their house. So I started collecting the same things, and I wanted life to be so much like a movie that you never left it. It's the same reason that all of our cars are limousines and cobbled together pieces. But when I was a child, my aunt was into skulls and was part of the Natural History Museum, so I got to visit those things and behind the scenes all the time, and then I got to jar my first animal at 7, and those tiny baby frogs. And I was asked how I knew what to preserve them in, and I don't have a good answer for that either. It was one of those things that I think my dad must have helped me figure out. In the center is something that was donated by a local belly dancer friend of ours, on the condition that we make a vessel proper for it to soak in. I created this out of oak and brass and various whatnots lying around Trundle Manor itself. Tried to make it as beautiful as the woman that it came out of as it is. We also gave it somewhat of a voice. So thusly was born Olivia's singing tumor.
In Pittsburgh, Night of the Living Dead was always on TV because they filmed it here, so it was just sort of a part of growing up, and they grew up watching TV horror host type shows late at night and the Addams Family, and it never seemed, I don't know, I guess as normal, quote unquote, as my parents are, as mainstream as their tastes run, they never made me feel that it was only a Halloween thing. There was never a stigma with that stuff. It was just always around.
They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky.
My mom and my dad are both artists, so I think that helped in letting me stay strange throughout my lifetime, and watching the Addams Family with them, and teaching me that we like to think of ourselves as more of a mild down Addams Family when we were growing up, because my family was strange and they knew that, but the outside world was still part of the world, and we just kind of had to get along with everybody, and we didn't think it was so strange that everybody else was so normal and we liked different things.
What is this? That's a chicken claw that somebody gave to us at one of our traveling shows, and had some kind of weird disease. It's all warty and mangled.
Yeah, he said, I raise chickens and they get this disease sometimes, so he brought that for us.
That's awesome. That was really cool.
Now, how did you find him?
It's funny, I used to go to car shows with my dad, and like I said, I grew up wanting to be a 50s juvenile delinquent and loving the whole greaser rockabilly culture, and the one year I went to the show downtown, and he had his old car club set up, and they all had their flat black sort of punk looking rat rods, and they were all greasers, and for some reason I had never seen that before, and I just said, you guys live in a movie every single day, I'd like to know you, but I didn't say anything. I didn't know them, I didn't feel confident enough, and I sort of was aware of the club's presence, and I did end up MySpace stalking him when I was able to find out who he was. And then I found out, he lives in basically the Addams Family house, and wait, he's single now. I certainly didn't time that accurately, and then I friended him, and he sort of invited me over. He said, we know some of the same people, and we should be friends. I said, yes we should.
And I looked at her profile, and I thought, oh my god, this girl is into everything that I love, and she is gorgeous. And then I invited her over for taxidermy the next day, or the next week. I'll teach you taxidermy, we can hang out. And we ended up doing that the next week, and I always say it's love at first slice.
What is that?
They're rats. They look like they have little scabies or something. They're special.
Hairless rats.
Wow.
Oh, he's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, Mel.
You're petting it.
I am. He's sweet. He should be on my hat. But whenever I walked in, he had Tom Waits music playing, and incense was burning, and all the lights were dim, and I said, this feels like a really sexy funeral home. Something about the atmosphere made me never want to leave. I sort of stepped into the world that I had always wanted to.
Now I'm going to have you folks follow through with me in this little tale. Now I told you about my dog there, the head of it being a garfish. And there's another garfish head in that the center of that big cabinet over there. Now the garfish, a strange creature, prehistoric in nature, has been living forever. Still lives to this day in our rivers. It's got bony scales, can grow to be 15 feet long, a bifurcated tongue full of... We don't go out hunting, we don't kill things for the collection. We kind of like the things that have been around for a long time, and we just want to continue to give this weird love to these things that have fallen out of place in in people's homes.
I think they just do it kind of in the city park now because it's in a small town, so the city will take any opportunity to get a lot of people in.
That makes sense.
So they really like exploit it.
That's one of our newest cases. So I just told you about that.
I did not. We were talking about hobo conventions.
Well,
This
I'd love
is
to visit that
awesome.
at some point. That's one of our newest ones. The case itself was made by a Votech school. You can see the little plaque there. It's made by kids, but we found that at an old school.
I mean, it's never boring, and there's, always at least a couple regular tours per week, so I can't really say what the future holds. It's going to be something fantastic. I'm optimistic. There's always somebody weird coming into my house.
I liked it, but it was like kind of creepy in a way, but it was pretty cool, just like all the dead stuff in jars. What is it?
Little zombie family inside. There's babies, and the mom's cooking a hand, and the dad's trying to get out.
And the dad's trying to get out.